I'm just going to tell you guys this real quick. I will go into it a little bit more in a video or another Instagram live, but I really struggled. As you guys know, I have always used paper. Love paper. When I was a graphic designer, I was known to be that person who would come up with creative ideas, and I would use different types of papers. Like I would seek paper out because I just love paper. It is my first love. But having said that, I had purchased an iPad back in 2018. I mean, I've always had an iPad, but I've not before Sojourner. I just used it, I don't know, I don't remember, to watch movies maybe, and just to have something on hand. And back then they didn't have styluses, the little pencils, right? And so you kind of have to type on it. And I wasn't into that. And so I like writing. So anyway, all that to say, it's been 2 years that we have been trying to transition from our move from California to Texas. And we've been moving a business here. And it's been 2 years, and the first year I didn't really talk a whole lot about it, because a lot of it was the logistics of moving it here. And I'll just tell you, by the end of it all, we had 17 semi runs from California to here in Texas. And having said that, when we finally got everything moved over and planned on coming out here to Texas, the beginning of January, everything was already here. They already started setting everything up. And then my husband and I drove out here with a lot of our belongings and such. And we had gotten an apartment, and yeah. And so I thought, I'm gonna be settled down for a time. And my husband thought that he was only gonna be here a couple of months at most. And so I got the apartment for about a year. I told him, you're gonna be here probably at least 2 years. And so I thought to myself, okay, I'll have about 2 years, and I could settle down in Texas. I'm okay living in a 750 square foot home, apartment, which is another story. And so I was doing fine. And then we found out that my daughter was gonna have a baby. She got married, and probably 2 weeks after she got pregnant. And so she was gonna have a baby. And I thought to myself, well, I wasn't really ready to be a grandma necessarily. And, so I don't know, I could just come and visit every so often. And I mean, I love my girls. I homeschooled them. They were always with me. But when they got married, I thought to myself, they need to become a family with their husbands. And so I was okay not being close. I felt I needed to give them space, and I figured, well, as time goes on, then we can start thinking about maybe having a place in Arizona. Well, all that changed when Ember was born. All my friends were telling me, oh, you're gonna love it, it's so good, being a grandparent, it's so fun, you were just gonna love them to pieces and all this stuff. And I would go, yeah, I'm sure I would like it. So all that to say, Ember was born, and we were there for the first 5 days of her life, where we came in and out, visited and all that stuff. And by the time we left on the 5th day, I looked at my husband. We got into the vehicle. I looked at him and I said, there is no way I can not be around to watch her grow up. Anyway, sorry. So that's kind of what happened. And so then it was like, okay, well, what can we do to get us to Arizona? I'm gonna rent an apartment and all that, but the opportunity came. So we ended up getting a townhome. So we have a townhome there. We have an apartment here in Texas. All that to say, I am traveling between 3 states, and I have been. Before Arizona, from January to July, this is kind of a long story, I'm sorry you guys, but from January to July, kid you not, I personally must have been in Texas a total of 45 days. I didn't realize until I counted the days, because I was just back and forth. So then when we got the place in Arizona, I'm still traveling back and forth, where I thought we were going to be able to settle down a bit, right, in one place. And so all that to say, it's been really, really, really difficult having my stuff in 3 different locations. And so what I started doing is I started using the iPad a little bit more. And so all that to say, I came up with, I cannot let go of paper, but in this time of my life, in this juncture, in this season, being in so many different areas, I had to come to a point where I had to make myself use an iPad for more than just playing around with it and watching movies. Trying to, when I was in the van, when we're driving cross country, I have time to journal, and I can't journal on a piece of paper. So I'm able to do it on the iPad. When I need to recall things, like I told you, I write copious notes. When I am writing notes about something that has to do with a business or insurance or anything like that, I have it in different places, because I would have inserts, and then I would put the insert away, and then I would try to recall something and I don't remember, number one, where I put it. I'd have to look through all the inserts, and number two, it happens to be maybe in Arizona and I'm in Texas, and vice versa. So it had been so difficult. And so I finally just made myself be okay with using an iPad. Again, it is not my first choice. It's definitely not my first love. Paper is, but I have to work with what I am given right now to be productive as much as I can. So all that to say, I am using a hybrid system. I tried it out. And also, oh, by the way, I take so many pictures of Ember when I'm with her that I want to be able to print it, and I can't print it because my printer is somewhere else, right? So with the iPad, I can actually put it right into the planner, my little calendar thing that I'm using. I'm able to stick it in there and look at it and be happy looking at it, And then what I do is I don't generally journal on the iPad. I kind of try to stay away from journaling on there as much as I can. But times like this, I totally forgot. I don't know why I know why. My Faith Life journal, I totally forgot it over back in Arizona. And the reason why I realized is because I cleaned up my office before then. And so I had a designated place with all my current journals that I'm using, and I forgot to grab it, I guess. Silly me. So I didn't have it, but I have my iPad. So what I will do, that I've done before, is if I journal on the iPad, I will literally print it when I get back, and then I will paste it on my Hobonichi, because I will always use paper. And so I'm going hybrid. If I am at home, I can easily use my Hobonichi, which I love so much to write, on with your pen. It's just, there's just such a beautiful feeling that you get when you're writing with paper and pen or pencil. And so anyway, so that's what I'm going to be doing. And then if I have to use the iPad for journaling, I'm going to stick it in there. So all that to say, I'm telling you guys this because I am in the midst of designing a digital planner that mixes both. Are you using an app? No, I'm not. No, I kind of just made up. I've tried some different ones, and that's kind of how it happened. I tried a few of them, and then I made some up as well. And so I'm just using a hybrid system again. And so that's kind of why I started thinking, well, I'll just make my own. And so it's going to be I'm going to call it Faith Life Planner Journal. And the reason I also like it that way is because, my faith is not when I'm at church. My faith is in my business. It's in everything that I do. I don't separate my faith from anything. I run my business as a Christian, and I do my best to adhere to the Bible. And so my life is not separated in segments. And so I wanted to create a planner / journal that will encompass the two. Because like I said, for me to journal, when I was noticing I would be journaling in the car, it's easy when I'm journaling with my iPad, and then building in the Faith Life journal with that I've been, using in the past with a Hobonichi. I just really liked it, and so I put the two together, and it's going to be a very, very simple one. I'm not coming from all planner. I'm not coming from all journal. I'm combining the two and making it work, and I will explain that a little bit more. I know that a lot of planners have a myriad of things that you can do in it. The Faith Life journal, the Faith Life Planner journal is not going to be that. It's limited. I know that not only myself, but a lot of you have a hard time making choices. So I made choices for you to the best of my ability, to the best of what I think will work out. And as I've said many, many times, I design things that fit what I need at the moment. And so with that in mind, I feel like if I need it this way, a lot of people would also, and maybe benefit from it, hopefully. And so, yeah, so it's going to be a very simple one. It's not going to be where you're going to sit there and feel like, oh my gosh, I got to fill all this stuff out. It's not going to be like that at all. And so you'll see, again, I'm in the designing process. Pray that we get it done in time for January. Yeah, but we'll see how it goes. And anyway, so I just wanted to share that a little bit. I had some questions. Sorry, I got to go back. Chris says, oh, I love your stories. Feels like you're in the kitchen with me while I'm making cookies. Oh, you're making cookies? What kind of cookies are you making? I have to dodge this. I have to keep moving it because it's casting this light. What kind of cookies are you making? Yes, love the stories. I quit cleaning to sit and listen. Oh, you're so sweet. Are you using an app? I answered that. Designing seems like a perfect next step for you. Thank you. Well, I design all the notebooks, and yeah, I trust oatmeal mini chocolate chip. Oh, nice. I missed a bit. I'm getting discouraged making salmon. So anyway, yeah, I hope you guys like it, and we'll see what happens. Like I said, it's just something that I've been using and I wanted to share with you guys. And but don't worry, I am not going out of the paper products because, again, I'm using a hybrid system. And I really feel like this is just for right now because of my situation. On the iPad, you can recall, if you just put on there the word insurance, it'll recall every time you wrote insurance, and not just if you typed it, but also if you wrote it with your hand. For the most part, it's pretty accurate, and so that's been a big deal to me, because then I can find my notes on whatever it is that I need information on, because my life is crazy right now. And I can't remember a whole lot. There's a lot I forget. I mean, one day I had like 3 people that needed information from me, and it's business related. And I'm going back and forth. And at the same time, I was trying to find insurance because I needed to register some vehicles here in Texas. And so I'm going through this. 4 or 5 insurance companies are calling me, and then I have the accountant side emailing, asking for something because they waited too long to get this information. They could have asked me a while ago and they didn't, and so they waited too long, and then their emergency became my emergency. I hate that. So anyway, but I had to do that, and anyway, I ended up forgetting because then someone emailed me and said, hey, I asked for this. I called you yesterday, blah, 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 whatever. And I'm like, who is this person? And I'm like, when did this happen? And I was just at a loss. And so I went back to my notes that day, and which was like the day before. And then I realized, oh, okay, that was her name. I never really picked up her name, and I didn't really know. I couldn't remember what she was asking me for because there were so many people asking me questions. So had I not had that to be able to recall it, I'd have been like, I never talked to you. So my notes, you guys, and I don't know if you guys are at this point in your life, maybe some of you are, but my notes, I have to take notes on every single thing because otherwise it goes in, goes out. It's crazy. Everything. I have to write everything down. When I am talking to the girls at the studio, I call them almost every day. We have a short meeting, and when I do that, I'm literally writing what they're telling me. I am writing what I'm telling them because I will forget, and then I'll think, oh, did I give them this information? And I have to do a lot of recall. And I think that's the major thing why I decided to go hybrid. Well, number one, I really wanted to do it because of the Ember thing, her pictures. And when I say that, she was born in May, and I kind of started doing it in May, probably for a week, testing it out. And then I was like, I don't like this. I don't like digital. So I stopped for probably 6 weeks. And then I was like, let me try it again. And so I did this maybe 4 or 5 times until when I finally went and purchased the Mini. And when I purchased that, you guys, and this is again is part of this whole story. When I purchased that, I sat there and I started using it, and I thought to myself, oh my gosh, this is such a waste. I do not like using this. I don't like using even that it's so small, right? And so I thought, this is a waste. I'm returning it. So after, because you had like 14 days, 2 or 3 days later, I erased everything, all my information. And I have a lot of information. I have a lot of pictures. I have over 5,000 pictures on my phone. And so all of that was transferred in, and then I had to transfer it out. So all of that got cleared and everything. I put it in the box, and probably by day 4, 5, 6, it sat in the box because I was waiting to have time to go over and return it to Apple. And then I sat there and I thought, you know what, Rowana? If you don't really try it, if you don't really give this a chance, you are going to walk away after returning this a month, 2 months later, when you get frustrated because you can't find something. You're going to come back and you're going to go, why did I return that? I should try it again. And then it would be a whole waste of time. And so I thought, okay, forget it. I am going to use this for 1 week straight. That's it. I'm going to use it for 1 week straight for everything. And so I put all my information back into the iPad, and I started using it for a week. And then that's when I was like, as much as I'm not keen, it's not my first thing to want to use, I was just like, my life right now dictates it. And for me to keep some sanity, I need to just bite the bullet. And so I decided to keep it. I passed my 14 days. Now it's too late. And so, yeah. So I ended up using it. And now I am finding my balance. I am finding using both at the same time helps me feel more organized and probably saves me a lot of time and headache. So then I'm able to journal and do more of those things on my piece of paper and my wonderful fountain pen. So that's the story. So all that to say, I am coming out with a digital planner that is mixed with your faith and your days that you have to plan. So hopefully that makes sense and I don't lose anybody. You guys have any questions or anything before I let y'all go? Any questions? I think my matcha's gotten cold. Anyway, thank you so much, you guys, for being here and for listening. I really was not planning on talking about all of this. But, you know, it's one of those things that it just, I feel like I'm, you know, someone's saying here, she feels like she's just sitting here and, you know, while she's baking and that she's right there in the kitchen with me. I feel the same way when I'm talking to you guys. That's why all of a sudden I just start talking about all kinds of things. So anyway, any questions? I'm excited because I have been hybrid and would love new options. Oh, cool. Do you use a pencil with your mini? Yes, I use the Apple pencil. I do. I really actually like it. My eyes are, of course, as many of you probably, I need a reader a lot of times, but what's nice is you can make it bigger. And so I that's one of the things I didn't want to do, is have to adjust. And I have found after doing it a little, you know, as time goes on. Okay, so anyway, let me finish my thought. As I'm doing it, I realize that, you know, it's not so bad. I'm not gonna say I don't have my paper stuff. I do. I usually carry it and have it in my backpack, and that stays in the car unless I need it. And then if I go into a store or something, I have my satchel, and in it is my iPad mini. Not that it has stopped me from carrying all the things. It hasn't really, because I do carry it with me. It's just that I don't have to have it with me at all times. It's in my car most of the time, so that if I need it, I can go get it. Do you use an app? Oh, when you guys are saying app, are you talking about like GoodNotes? Yes, I use GoodNotes. It is the #1, I believe. I think there's like one called Notability and all of that. And although this planner that I'm making is going to work with both, I am a GoodNotes person. And so if you're interested and you're thinking of investing in an app, I would go with GoodNotes, because that is what I'm mostly going to be talking about in the future when I talk about the iPad stuff. You know, because I have a lot of plans for it. You know, I have a lot of things, and like I said, it's going to be a very minimalistic. There will be add-ons that I'm going to develop as time goes on. We all need a talking time. Yes. Learning to use my Apple Pencil is a goal for November. Oh, let me know. I can help you out. I have ideas and I have my opinions. And, you know, my opinions are from experience. And so my experience may not be the same as yours, but I can definitely, and I'm always willing to share my experience so that you guys can learn from my mistakes or my victories, and then choose your own way. So let me know what you want to learn. I would be glad to sit with you, FaceTime with you, and show you a few things. I don't mind that at all. Then we get to chat. So, any other questions, you guys? Who has an iPad here? Oh, the small iPad, that's what I was gonna say. The small iPad is just really very convenient. Oh, that's what I was gonna talk about, is how I use it. A lot of times I will have the big iPad, which is the 11-inch, and then I'll have the mini in my purse always. And if I'm at work, if I go to the studio, it is in my backpack, and I will always defer to the bigger iPad, which is the 11-inch. Melanie has one. Cool. Do you use it a lot? Do you plan on it? And so anyway, I will use the bigger iPad just because it's more convenient. It's bigger. It's, you know, faster. But I also use the mini whenever I'm out and about. And, you know, like if I go to a coffee shop, I'll have the mini with me. And it's just always in my purse. And I do use it. It's just not my go-to if the bigger iPad is there. And I personally, I have my own opinions about iPad and iPad sizes and things like that. The 12-inch is definitely really nice and big, but it's too big for me because, as you know, I travel a lot. I'm not really at the studio or at home a lot during the day. And so the lighter the better. I have an iPad Air with a keyboard and pencil. Oh, that's great. So do you guys plan on it at all? What do you use with it? I use an iPad Pro. Yes, that's what I have too. I have a 2018, and I thought that this year, I knew they were going to come out with a new iPad Pro, and this year I thought I was going to purchase a new one because, you know, as time goes on, 2018, that's old technology and such, and it works fine for me. I don't really need to change necessarily, but sometimes certain apps will not work on it if it's kind of older. I haven't found that to be true yet, but I thought, well, I should just go ahead and buy a new one since this is a good year for that because they're coming out with different things for it. But I'm kind of seeing that the reviews, they're not very good. So I may be sticking it out with my 2018 until I really, really need it, or I might get the last version before this new one just came out, which is the 2022 version, I guess. And maybe I'll get that instead because my keyboard for it, I tried it because my husband has the newer iPad, the 2022, he bought it in 2022, and the keyboard that I have and currently use works with it. So I think I actually may buy a refurbished older one, which will probably, I'm sure will be cheaper, less expensive, but yeah. So I'm not sure about the new iPad. I really need to do a little bit more research. I just haven't had time. Been kind of busy. Ooh, whoa, sorry. Kind of been busy trying to get this planner done. So, oops. Sandra said I need to use it more, so I'm intrigued by your planner. Oh, great. I hope that you guys will like it. I think you will, because it will encompass, like I said, your regular life and your spiritual life, all in one. And that's why I kind of, you know, my Faith Life journal was really just the journal part of it, of my faith in the Hobonichi, because it was limited. With this, it's not limited. And also because it was kind of big for me to carry it around everywhere. And so I was using a separate planner. So I have an 11-inch Pro and pencil. I can't keep up like I do with my Jibun Techo. What does that mean exactly? I'm curious. Sometimes good notes. What does that mean? I have to go back at the questions or the comments. Will your digital planner work on non-Apple products? Yes, it should, because they are really PDF files. So yes, it should. If other planners work, it should. If it's able to, if your product is able to pick up the different planners on the market, then it shouldn't be a problem. It should be the same system. You know, I'm just starting out in this, you guys, so it's not like I'm 100% well versed on it, on how it works, but it should work because they're PDF files. Oh, and anyway, by the way, one of the things that's going to be in this planner is the verse mapping template that I have, that I shared with you guys. It is on the website, and it's a free download if you would like it. And it is on Sojourner website. If you go to the products and scroll to the very, very end, that's where you'll see it. It's free in there right now. I don't say with digital planning can be overwhelming. Paper is comfortable for me. Oh, I totally get that. You know, here's the thing. If you like using paper, then stick with that. If you don't need to use an iPad. If I didn't go back and forth, I mean, I've been traveling a long time, but right now, when I used to travel, it was to travel to go somewhere for a short time, maybe a couple of days on vacation, on a trip, on a business trip, and then I go back home. You know, that's how my traveling was. And so I really I didn't have such a need for this now at that point. But now it's different. I'm actually living in two different places. When I go to California, I go there for about a week. So in a sense, I'm living there, but I know I'll leave in a week. In Texas and in Arizona, we're talking 2-3 weeks. And that's why I need it, just to keep my sanity, so that I know if I have to recall something, especially information that has to do with the business, then it's easy for me to recall it on the iPad. So, but if you're comfortable with paper and you like paper, I would use that. But you know, it's also kind of fun to try something new. So if you wanted to, once it's out, purchase the planner from us here at Sojourner, then you could try it out and see. It may actually, you may end up liking it. And I say that because I've seen the planners out there and they're very intense. A lot of them are very intense. And they're really coming from, I believe, and this is not to disparage anything, because everybody has different styles, everybody has different needs. But I truly believe that a lot of the planners out there that I have seen are for people who are planners, people who love to plan everything. They just thrive on that. They're planners first before they're journalers, and every so often they add in journaling. I think that's what a lot of them are, you know, and that's what planners are. You know, you kind of plan all your life, your personal, your business, everything, spiritual, maybe in that planner. I get that. That's what planners are made for planning, not necessarily journaling. But I'm coming from this side where I am a journaler and I have to plan. If I did not have all of this going on, I probably wouldn't be planning. I wouldn't be putting anything on a planner. When the girls were young, I would buy those inexpensive, probably $5 planners. And I would put stuff in it, but I generally just used the monthly because I didn't need an everyday plan. I knew what I was doing on a daily basis. And if I had something new that I had to do, I didn't need a planner for it because I wasn't that busy. I mean, I was busy. It's just that I didn't have a lot of variety of things I have to remember. And so I just used the monthly, you know, and then I would have my journal. I've had a journal since I was 10. And so they were separate like that. I know that the planners in the planner industry are going straight for all the planning. You know, they stick everything in there. I'm going for the minimalistic approach that's going to have journal, planner, and then if you want to, as I make other forms, then you can purchase that and stick it in within the planner, if that makes sense. So, but it is going to have journaling in it and planner. And I would say that it's equal. It's not just the planner, it's not just the journal, it's not heavy on journaling, it's not heavy on planning. It's really just kind of combines the two, in my opinion. And also your faith, the faith stuff that you might want to have to be able to go in there and do the things about that has to do with the faith. And so that's why I'm saying the verse mapping form that I've shared on the website, that is going to be in the planner so that you can pull it up if you wanted to. You can pull up the page if you wanted to and use it. And then if you want another page, you just add it. You add it to the next page or what have you, and it just keeps going. So I'll talk a little bit more about it once I actually have it and ready for it to be launched and ready to go. And yeah, so I will come on here for you guys and kind of show it to you. So anyway, any other questions, you guys? I'm sorry, I don't know how long I've been on here, probably too long. Dinner is ready. Thank you for the talk. I love it. I'm glad you're able to do 2 things at a time because I can't. I can barely drink my matcha. See, it's totally cold now. I can barely drink my matcha and chat at the same time. So anyway, okay, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Thank you so much for hanging out. I truly, truly appreciate each and every one of you guys. And I can't believe that I started talking about this stuff. But, you know, I really do truly consider you guys my friends. You know, people ask me, how is your transition from California to another state where you don't really necessarily know people already? And my daughter made dinner. Oh, that's nice. You know, here's the thing that I tell people. I'm in communication with my friends that are in California, that actually a lot of them also moved out of California. And also because I talk to you guys on a regular basis, not only just on the Instagram live, but when you DM me and such, and we chat little chats here and there, I feel like I've not really moved, except for the fact that I'm a little tired going back and forth. But yeah, and so to me, I really, I've not really missed California. I don't miss really my friends, because I feel like my friends are here, and I keep in contact with my friends, and some of my friends have come visited me over in Arizona. And in fact, I'm going back home next week because I have another friend who's scheduled to come out. And then I have another friend whose family is coming out to Arizona and basically passing through, or no, they've got a car show. And so they're gonna stay a couple of days. So yeah. So anyway, you guys are my friends here. I really appreciate it. And again, I talked about it on my latest reel. If you guys are in the area of Arizona, California, Texas, even some places in Montana, hit me up. I would love to meet up with you. I've been wanting to meet up with people, and I had a list going when I knew I was going to move out here. But guess what? It was in my weeks, and the weeks is over in Arizona. So when I was setting up to meet up with Sherelle, I thought I should ask the other ladies that I have on my list. And I'm like, wait, my list is not here. See, if I had it on my iPad, I would be able to recall it easily. But all that to say, I don't have the list. So please, I'm sorry if I just don't remember names very well. And so if you have talked about wanting to meet up out here in Texas, please hit me up. And as usual, keep on documenting life as it happens, and be blessed and pass it on. Bye-bye.